Hi, everybody. Oh, what happened? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Pyramid Science Foundation's live stream. I'm Lisa Richards, and this is Charlie Zeese. We have some awesome guests with us today, and we've been eager to get them on the show for the past few months, and we finally had time to do so. So before we introduce them, we have a couple announcements. Charlie has some research that he just came out with. Did you want to talk about that briefly, Charlie?
Well, sure. I put it out earlier this week. For the last 6 to 8 weeks, I've been working on a theory that proved out to be correct, that is a very highly sophisticated use of the golden ratio that shows up in all of the Gothic cathedral steeples. So, for those of you who are subscribers to our newsletter. I just sent out a newsletter about that this morning, so you've got it. But I also put out a video earlier this week. It's in the documentary section on the homepage of the Pyramid Science Foundation. So this is just the beginning. We just scratched the surface. But finding this kind of sophisticated use of the golden ratio and specifically exponential powers of the golden ratio is really a pretty profound, discovery. These cathedrals were built, they stopped being built about 500 years ago. And somewhere between then and now, we had completely lost all of this information. And as I dig into it, we're learning more and more about the sophistication of the people who built these. So more to come. But anyway, just wanted to alert you, go check it out.
Yeah, awesome. You're busy all the time doing that stuff. I know Charlie wanted me to write my own book with the pyramid healing and things like that. And I just have not had time. I don't see where he finds time to do all this stuff. But
Well, some things just, as we were just discussing before we got on board, I mean, some things just have to take a back seat. I've got another documentary I want to do, and it's going to have to wait a little while so I can introduce some new products I want here on the website with the store. So, anyway, go ahead.
yeah, for sure. Well, so I feel like I've been having, I put my business on the back burner for a while as well for the past several months, helping other people. And it's time I start focusing on that. So I'm actually expanding my line of products. I'll have a new line of pyramid enhancement products around Thanksgiving. And I've also started my own channel called Alter Ether on Rumble, and it will focus on different ways to enhance and transform the energies around us to benefit not only humanity, but Mother Earth, the universe, the plants, the animal kingdom, and everything. So, science tells us energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transformed. And that's what I'm looking for, ways to transform the energy. So let's bring on our amazing guest. Hi, guys. Greg and Jarin are with Rise TV. Let me give you a brief intro, real quick, guys. So, Greg Schumacher teaches leaders and organizations how to inspire. He's an author, most known for the Rise Code, Alpha in Command, and The Healthiest You, Mind, Body, and Soul. He hosts 2 weekly shows, Rise TV and the School of Om. Greg is a transformational leader and an optimist who has a vision of a new way of learning and growing together that can bring people to a space of feeling seen, heard, and safe. And Jarin Kenyon is a manifestation teacher, life mastery coach, motivational speaker, and cosmic human design specialist. He's also co-host of Rise TV and School of Om, and co-author of the Rise Code. Jarin is passionate about consciousness, the nature of reality, quantum physics, and cosmic human design. He aspires to empower millions of people into believing in and achieving their greatest dreams. He uses ancient wisdom, modern science, and practical tools to help people discover their true life's purpose, realize their unique talents, and to manifest their highest destiny in this ascension. And today, we're excited to have them on because we're going to talk about the Path of Ascension that leads to New Earth and their new book, The Rise Code. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes,
Greg,
of course.
Greg, you muted?
Oh,
Greg's muted. He thought he was talking.
I'll let Jarin start. Yeah, we just got off of Rise TV. We're here to join you for your amazing pyramid show. We love pyramids. We have the cover of the Rise Code with a pyramid on it. And we certainly make a lot of formulas based around the pyramid. So We love it. And we love your science base, like true science base, right? Real
Right.
discovery.
Oh, real stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. So it's been a little while since you came over onto our show.
Right.
And, we're happy to come onto your show and just create, man. Just create, because it's amazing. We create together, in aura fields.
That's what we just like, to be raw and go with the flow. It seems to get the best information out there. Whoever's going to tune in will tune in and see this whenever they want to, whenever they're supposed to. So it doesn't matter if there's one person here, I guess, or 10 or 100, everyone will get the information when they need it. But we really appreciate you guys joining us. And why don't you tell us? This is exciting. There's obviously a new earth, and we can envision it. A lot of us light workers envision it. We feel it. We feel being drawn to it. Why don't you tell us what we have to do to get there? And you guys have been delving into this for a while, so you're stewards of the new earth. I like to call myself that as well. So lead the way and let us follow.
Well, I guess I'll go first, Jarin. The way I see the new earth is we have to have new leadership. So we have to develop leadership in all of these amazing people that are around the planet that are awakened, right? That have some kind of sense of, this isn't the way I want to live. There's a new and amazing way we can go. And we're going to start envisioning that, manifesting it, putting our minds together, co-creating it. And so we're here as, Rise TV, as School of Om, as the Rise Code, as live events, to bring together people and get them all in the same mindset, get them vibrating high, get them understanding what authenticity really is, and living life from the inside out instead of being always influenced by the external world and then in, right? We're going to go from the inside out. And that's how we really want to live and co-create on Earth. And that's how the new Earth is going to really be gelling and moving into that direction, is you got to get to that vibrational level so we can reach that dimensional shift. And I don't know exactly how that's going to look. If we are going to really split off, as they say, right, there's going to be a 3D and a 5D split. I don't know. But certainly we know of people who are really high vibrating people and higher thinkers, higher educators looking for something new. And we know the people that love their loop patterns and their programming, and they just want to stay there. So we'll see where all that leads. Jarin, you want to take that away?
Yeah, I love this. Well, everything is energy, frequency, vibration. We hear that a lot. Energy vibrating at different frequencies. And there's also consciousness behind it. And what we have to realize is the real awakening, although the stories are great, they're all part of the process. The real awakening is the who and what you really are, that you're an eternal, infinite, multidimensional being that is co-creating with the cosmos, and that there's a loving, giving, nurturing, harmonious field behind any matrix, behind even any simulation. And so we're remembering our true power, our true self. And so within that, for me, it's intention. Intention leads everything. And that we can intentionally build our realities. We can intentionally co-create and build with others a new reality. And, albeit much of the herd might follow the program, which is kind of going to do its thing. And I think that we are detaching from that more and more, to where we don't necessarily try to, get lost in what's going on in everybody else's world, or get lost in what's going on in the news. We can look at it, we can observe, we can be aware. It's good to be aware so we can share with others. But ultimately, it's about us, the sovereign beings, that are building our own reality. Because it's almost like you're living in two realities at once. Now, obviously, we recognize it's infinite. There's infinite potentials of, dimensional experiences you can even have within this realm. But if you summed it up in two, it's you have the individual that's the sovereign being that can create your reality. You can set the destination for where you're heading, and you can allow the cosmos to help take you there through these wonderful experiences that we can have. And then there's also just, again, the program that's running itself out on auto loop that many beings have, let's say, fall prey to the point where there's not a lot of free will and consciousness behind it. They just kind of follow the external and go along with the program. But everyone here, we're not doing that. we are human beings that make mistakes. We are learning. Any awakening being recognizes there's always more to know. So when you think you know it all, that's the ego tricking you. There's always more to know. Not, we all see life in a unique way. We all have different parts to the puzzle to co-creating, if we want to call it, the new earth, the new reality, or the real reality. But having said that, there's a lot out there that we don't know, and we want to be in the exploration of that. And that's why I'm grateful for all of your work, and even just getting on before the show, like hearing some of this new stuff Charlie's been doing. It's like already spiking my mind. It's making me interested, and I find that every day is a new chapter. Every day I feel like I've outgrown my old self, and hopefully out there you all are doing so too, so you're not stuck in the cube.
Well,
We want to move into a circle, the full circle of who we are, the not just the same box that basically is an imprisonment that's mostly your own mind's imprisonment. Let's break free of that, and let's create the reality we desire.
Yeah, so that goes back to, the programming. I think it's Dr. Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. They always talk about from the age up to 7 years old, we're kind of in a hypnotic type state, and it's programming our subconscious mind. So then we live our life using our subconscious mind to respond to 90% of the decisions. 90% of the decisions in our life come from our subconscious mind, but our entire lives, we're training our conscious mind. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We should focus more on training our subconscious mind, and then we will realize how powerful we really are,
Yeah, I think oh, sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Jaron a question. And in your opening statement, you were talking about how I don't want to paraphrase this wrong, but I think I heard you say something to the effect of really any matrix or any situation is going to be made by a benevolent, intelligence. I would agree with that, but for the skeptics in the world, how would you try to convince somebody of that? Because I think that's the problem. I don't think everyone can really appreciate the fact that there's no higher authority or intelligence out there that wants us to be in pain or to suffer. So how do you go about convincing people of that?
Well, for me personally, I don't try to convince.
Okay.
It's by design, right? It's by design, which is another subject, but harmony and sharing the point. But I will say this, I think that all that's true in this realm, in this game, in this experience that we're having. There's a lot of challenges we're up against that you would call more negative than positive. There's a lot of default programs, and that may make it seem like something's out to get us. And I think that's part of the process. However, we get to know that beyond all that, right? Beyond all that is a loving, giving cosmos, and you are connected to that cosmos, and you manifest what you believe. I think that Lisa was talking about subconscious decisions. Well, how about belief systems that are, constantly creating what we see around us? So we want to update those. But I do believe it's really important to recognize that nothing is against you. Inevitably, everything is for you. And if you shift your perception with the attitude of gratitude and appreciation, and you shift your point of attention, you can recognize that everything's for your good, and that even negative experiences lead to transformation, and they lead to quantum reality manifestation, especially in this realm of duality. But that brings up, what is normal versus, or what is divine versus what is a little bit simulated. And I think it's a little of both. I think we're in a game that's a little more challenging. There's many things, including forgetting who we really are. So you have to remember who you really are first, and that you're a spirit through the avatar, and you have an avatar body. But inevitably, everything is infinite, everything is possible, and that you can create your own bubble of a field of experience no matter what's going on in the negative kind of default programs of the world.
Very cool. Good.
Yeah, maybe may I add a little bit? So I think that as humanity, we are probably the most distracted humanity in the entire amount of time we've been here, unless there's been alternate universes that had this kind of technology. But with phones and everything else that goes on and flashes in front of us, it is constantly distracting our attention. It's pulling our attention where it wants to go. So if you were to try to convince somebody of something, they're so programmed, they're so far deep into it. It's like pulling out a weed, and it's like got the roots really deep, and you're pulling and you can't get that thing out, and you got to start digging the ground around it just to get to the roots. These people are so implanted in what they believe that their self-identity would shatter as you speak to them and try to get them to open up. So the only way you can do that is give them slight nudges, right? So you, first of all, you got to convince them that where their energy goes, or where their attention goes, energy flows. So where is your attention? Are you watching the news all the time? Is it every single 6 o'clock you're on the news? Well, you're going to be saturated in negativity and fear and everything that's going to pull you down in vibration, right? It's going to put you in the densest level of vibration. So you are going to be very heavy, and you're not going to be able to feel these thoughts, be able to even open your mind to speaking about something like this. So if you can bring somebody into a meditation or something, or a school of Om where we're teaching, if they're just open enough to listen to it, they can maybe get a little hint of something. And once they start questioning, then you have a chance. But until that question comes up and they do it on their own, I don't think you have a chance to really convince them of anything, because they'll just attack you for even bringing it up.
Mm-hmm. I know when I first got into spirituality and I started learning about mediumship and Reiki energy healing, and I went to the local YMCA for an event, and I set up a Reiki table. And about different people came over and laid on the table and let me do a Reiki session with them. And they were just amazed when afterwards I'd be like, yeah, I feel some pain here, and this is what happened. And, this is what we can do to get rid of it. Or they could feel that the energy transformed just within that 10 minutes and it wouldn't be painful anymore. And just something simple like that opened them up enough. It cracked the door a little bit. They were still skeptical, but you could tell their wheels were spinning, and they were going to look into more information after that. So I always tell people, I don't care. I'm sure I look crazy and sound crazy to a lot of people, but I don't care. If I crack that door a little bit, it's going to come slamming open eventually, and that's what we need.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So when we talk about, like, you guys are always in the pyramids, right? And you're always into the shapes of them, the geometry of it, and all of the way that it's designed. Now, when we talk about magnetic, right? People being magnetic people, right? As you become more authentic, you become more magnetic. People are more either polarizing, magnetic, or people are more attracted to you in that way, right? They feel something that they want to match to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because you're vibrating a little higher level, they want to match that. They don't know why they like you. They just know that you have a certain energy about you.
Right.
So when we look at pyramids and we look at our own human selves, do you see similarities between a pyramid and a human being?
Well, it's similarities to the extent that we are each uh, uh, affect the torsion field or our field. I mean, a pyramid works in a passive way, and if with the proper geometry, it organizes a coherent energy field. Now, we as humans are active, creators, and so it really is going to be a function of what we're putting out to the universe. Are we putting out a positive high energy vibration, or are we putting out an incoherent vibration of insecurity or lack of our negativity? It's really going to be a function of that. But yeah, I mean, objects and people your consciousness can impact the field. So yeah, to that extent, they're both very similar.
And the Merkaba, the Merkaba is the
Sure,
upside
sure.
down and the right side up
That's right.
pyramid, which, could, to me, I know that people say it's the light vehicle that we travel around in or whatever. But to me, it could symbolize the light and the darkness of us. We have to acknowledge every aspect of ourselves, in order to transcend. And that's one of the things that you guys teach, right? That this path to ascension has some uncomfortable situations to it that we have to address. Do you want to talk about some of that?
Well, one of my quotes from the Alpha and Command book that I wrote was, you have to walk through the uncomfortable truth to get to the core of your success channels. So unless you're willing to walk through the uncomfortable truth, you're not getting there. And so I'm sure all of us who have taken the journey to enlightenment, even if we're not there yet, we're journeying. It has been a very up and down road. It's been tough. You know, you have to walk through some really tough things, including relationships in your life, including pushing people away, including offending people, looking weird, you know, all of these things trying to fit in to something that you don't really want to fit into is part of the journey. And when we aren't willing to walk through those, we're not going to go very far. So we must see both the villains and the stuff that's going to help us ascend. But those villains are going to be catalysts if we can use them in the right way. But we have to see them. We have to be willing to see them and say, that's a villain of mine, even if it's internal, right? We're a balance. We're a feminine, masculine. We're a good, bad. We're a mix of everything. It just depends on how you're using it in the moment. Jarin, you got more to add there?
Well, it's this great conversation. I mean, there's a variety of villains. There's a variety of ways to look at your path, your dharma path versus your karma, and the karma that we're working with, you know, to transform. I mean, we can't escape. We have to walk through all things, no matter what they are. You know, we got to be comfortable in doing so. And knowing that, you know, even when the challenges are happening, if you're walking through with integrity and authenticity, and you're willing to move on to the next moment, you're already breaking yourself free. You know, you're already climbing the stairway to heaven, let's call it, instead of driving on this, you know, highway to hell. You know, up until now, it's been very comfortable, you know, for many of us, the species, to kind of just cruise real fast and think you're going somewhere, and you're not. It's what I call horizontal. You know, you're just moving horizontally. But right now we're being called to step up vertically. You know, our vertical intelligences, which is intention and inspiration and, you know, imagination and on, intuition, faculties that bring us into new and new chapters of frequency vibrations, you know. But in order to arrive to new destinations, we have to do it from the inside out. And in order to do that within this realm, we're working with the dualistic aspect of good and bad. And, you know, when you have an internal triumph, often you'll see a negative feedback after it. And the question is, okay, so I did the work inside, but now can I engage this work properly in the experience, in the horizontal, in the field with other people? Can I be authentic, transparent, you know, courageous, open-minded, neutral in my observation moment to moment? Or am I going to, you know, fight or flight, you know, live out that, what I call like virus energy, that vampire energy that's locked hold of a lot of our minds, that causes us to want to react in fighting or avoid in flighting. And we're not going to do either of them. We want to walk through it, you know, with authenticity and integrity. And so, you know, I think our greatest impact is our vibration, our image. It's not even in what we tell people or what we teach people or what we're, you know, share in information. I mean, that's all part of it. But the real walking it and the real being it, which is what manifests. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you're being, what you're vibrating, right? And as we walk in that image, we can influence reality with our aura, with our impact alone. But that takes a lot of courage to continue to be willing to be vulnerable, make mistakes, and to transform the shadow, transform the guilt, transform the fear, transform the anxiety. You know, because if you try to ignore it, we all have it. I have it every day. In moments, the idea is, can I consciously catch it? Can I shift my point of perception and my attention while it's happening so I don't repeat the loops? Do I need to win here? No. But do I need to be myself here? Absolutely. And so it's a wild game to be in. I think it's amazing. I'm so grateful to be at this time, and I'm so grateful to be with so many on the similar wavelength and resonance. And as we come together in this co-creation to bring all of our talents together, all of our wisdom together, and be really mostly focused from the heart, being the answer. And all the mind games can be what they are, but where's the heart, and what's the purpose, and where are we going? And I think it's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, we're our own worst enemy, aren't we? And it is hard because we need to do the work. We need to do the work, and we're programmed to be lazy anymore. Things are handed to us. We want the quickest remedy, but it took us a long time to get to where we are. And these negative aspects of ourselves are part of our body, and they are holding on with a vengeance. They don't want to leave. That's why when we do take a step forward, sometimes we take a couple steps back because we resonate in comfort. Even though those are trauma-based emotions or negative aspects of ourselves, that's where we find comfort. And we always go back to that. So it is hard to get rid of it. But, one of the things that I stopped doing, I'm a medium, I'm an energy healer. I stopped offering sessions to people because they rely on that as a Band-Aid. I want to start teaching people, and I really believe that those are tools that you can use to fling the door open, to give people a taste of, yes, this is, how your life could be, or this is what you could do. But I want to show people mainly that this is what you can do. Don't come relying on a healer. Don't rely on a medium just for your healing aspects when it's all powered through you inevitably anyway. So take control of that and start doing it for yourself.
Yeah, and adding on to that, I think that most people are in coping. They do a lot of coping mechanisms. Entire personalities are built on coping. And what we need to do is start shifting to thriving. We need to start thriving as human beings. What we can do with our powers, how we can unlock those powers. I believe that we can be the Avengers of the planet. We can unlock amazing gifts that are within us that can really improve a lot of people's lives and touch a lot of people. But we gotta, again, walk through all those mechanisms, all those coping mechanisms, all the crutches we use on a daily basis, all the junk we put in our body, whether it's, reading things, watching things, eating things, whatever it might be, just junk, right? A lot of junk. We need to really start to watch what we're doing there. And really, we love the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you do the good things, you tend to your garden, and then 20% of the time, you can step out of that garden, have a little party time, and have a little fun. But you got to get back to the 80, or you're not going to be that amazing ascension of a human being. You're going to be gumped up with a lot of coping mechanisms that aren't going to help you on your journey. So,
Yeah. I
So
believe
let
that the negative things have a purpose, though, too. The 20%, definitely, because it's going to give you the opportunity to resonate with people and be able to relate to them who are lower vibration. Gives you a feeling of what they need to overcome in that aspect, I guess. Were you going to say something, Charlie?
Oh, that's all right. I was just going to ask these guys what we've just been discussing. I'm sure that this all relates to your new book, so I'd love to hear more about that and what it's all about.
yeah, I guess I'll go, Jaron, first. So the Rise, it was something that we really wanted to put a manual out there, something people could flip through and kind of feel like it's something they could see visually. A lot of visual colors, a lot of drawings, a lot of graphs in this, as well as writing activities. And there is formulas in each chapter for trying to remember what that's all about. For example, M3 formula, movement, music, and mantra is a beautiful way to get your vibrations high, right? So if you want to start off your day, or you're having a crappy day, you want to get better luck, right, so to speak, then you find your favorite song, you do some movement to it, whether it's walking, whether it's cleaning the house, whether it's dancing, whatever it might be, and then you find a mantra that's going to be able to really grasp what you want to do, where you want to go in the focus. Simple mantra, right? Simple things. But that is just a formula to really help us navigate the toughness of life, the things that are really like the mud, the mud of life. We step in mud, we almost lose our shoe. It sucks it right off. No, we don't. We want to be able to navigate very easily. So we use a lot of these amazing formulas and a lot of these ways of speaking to people as simple as possible. We broke it down into simple statements, simple paragraphs that really are very strong and effective. But just let me read the 9 steps to ascension that we believe they are. We start off with villains, okay? Because we talked about villains, right? Internally and externally, the villains, we got to recognize who they are, and we got to use them to our advantage. The Force, as far as, Star Wars, we always heard the Force, the Jedi Force. Focused attention, of course, because where you put your attention is where you're going. Are you being distracted all over the place, or can you focus enough to really get that attention where it needs to go and take the steps forward? Quantum navigation, Jarin loves that one. It's one of his favorite chapters. How do we navigate, whether it's horizontal or vertically, where are we going to go? Jarin, you can elaborate on that in a minute. The portal, we've always looked at portals as amazing places, right, where we can just walk through and get to another universe. But there's portals in our lives everywhere that we can open and get things quickly done. But we're not willing to look at those doors, so we want to look at those portals. Time travel, because what we do on this earth is we have the ability to time travel, especially in meditation and imagination. All kinds of places we can time travel. Masterminding, that's getting together like this, a group of people that we combined our auras together, our minds together, and we talk about amazing subjects, and we come up with new inventions, new innovations. Rebelling is right at the top of the list here, right under superpowers, because rebelling is something that nature does and that we need to do in order to really advance in innovation, especially, and just advance as human beings on this planet. We need to go against the grain. We looked at 2020. We had to go against the grain in order to really buck the system, so to speak, and do our own thing and really make an impact as who we are. And then superpowers is our last chapter. We believe that you can unlock some amazing superpowers inside yourself, whatever they may be. You have unique gifts that has been given to you by a higher power, maybe your higher self, that you can unlock. And that would be your 9 steps to ascension. Jarin, you want to elaborate?
Yeah, well, I would say I'd give different answers to the value of what I see in it, or the important parts of it each time. But right now I'll talk about streaming. So the idea is we want to be streaming beings versus storing. Streaming, think of Wi-Fi. Think of how you can pick up everything. The field is that. When we learn to get out of our minds and into our true spirits and our prime consciousness being attention, our attention and mind are very different, right? When you get your attention open and available, you're tapped into the internet of the cosmos and you stream naturally. Human beings are designed to be natural. We don't have to even, a lot of it is unlocking the blocks as much as it is trying to gain new things, right? And we want to become connected again and stop storing. Storing is living in the past over and over again and trying to think from logic and rationality, right? And that's a little bit of what I'm calling the real virus, okay, is there's energy around us that tries to keep us there. And we're on autopilot, many of us wanting to go back to those places. Well, what if we could get out of that, get out of time? There's only the now, and become streaming again. And then within that, several principles we talk about there. Greg mentioned quantum navigation, which is a big one that I love, because our minds are thinking the opposite. We're always trained to figure out how to get somewhere. I want to create this. How do I get there? And that's opposite. Our real divine job is to plug into the GPS what, or in other words, where. What do I want my field to be? Plug it in, and then to feel it, to feel like you're already there. And this is that little bit of time traveling, right? You're already into that future of what it is you're wanting to arrive to, or you're wanting to manifest. And when you stay in that energy and you stay in that focus of intention and you stay in that feeling that it's already here, you start to operate on more of a relative quantum way. People like to use that word quantum, so do we. we can't even imagine what that truly means, right? We can hypothesize and kind of imagine, but not really feel it. We're arriving to that place where we have that ability more and more to exercise our quantumness, our quantum energy. And so with quantum navigation, it's shifting our point of attention around to where the effect matters more than the cause. Because you are the cause. You're the cause that manifests the effect. And then you get to drive your car through the journey. You know, you're going to have red lights. You're going to have cars pull in front of you. You're going to have relative experiences along the way, but which we give, some support to those kind of things. But inevitably, the real power source is, can I get back centered, throw it all away, throw the external away, because that's also the past, what you're seeing with your eyes. Can I put all that away and go back on the destination? That's one thing to arrive to. Back to that intention, back to that feeling, right? And then intuition and inspiration will lead the way as I stream my way through life. And as I do that, the unknown will unfold, synchronicities will show up, alignments will show up, and inevitably you'll be in cosmic harmony, which is another aspect we talk about. Being in harmony with the cosmos in higher principles. And those of us that are willing to be the Jedis to do that, we're the ones inheriting, let's call it the new earth, or being images and guides and stewards to the new earth. But in order to get there, we have to live authentically. We have to recognize how the cosmos functions, and we have to be willing to put the work in inside and shift a lot of default programs that are opposite or negative to how reality works, so that we can step into a destiny that's beautiful, that's abundant, that's harmonious, that's passion, that's service. All these things that we all dream of, we have the ability to make that a reality. And the beauty is, I'll say this in finality, is it's a journey. So we give principles along the way and support in the Rise Code book, but it's all about not just getting there, because you're not really getting anywhere. It's all right here. You're not really moving anywhere, but it's about the journey in the experience as you arrive there, and we all do it in a unique way. So there's some foundational aspects to what makes us the same in this book, but then there's also aspects to what makes you completely unique and different than everyone else, and that has complete different quantum mechanics with this field in this realm than another person. And so we want to understand or understand our individual self as well. And that's where some of the chapters, including the Cosmic Human Design, can take you. So,
see, Greg's holding the book up there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big book. It's a good size. It's an 8x11, and it's got all kinds of colors and activities and demonstrations. It's a really, really nice workbook type.
That is very nice. We'll have to order one, Charlie.
Oh, you bet. Well,
Yeah.
Jarin, you mentioned that in the book you do you show people or give them a way to kind of determine their unique talents and abilities in the book, or because I think I'm just going to say in my own life, the last 10 years of my life since I started doing what I'm doing now have been the most productive and valuable of my life. I was doing things that I hated to do, and I didn't like the ethics of them. I'll put it that way. I enjoyed the creativity of what I was doing. But are you able to do that and give people some guidance as to perhaps where their hidden talents or their unique talents that they haven't expressed yet might reside?
Yeah, so one of them, right, and one of our main ways is through the Cosmic Human Design System, which is your quantum design. Okay, it's your unique code, your imprint. And it's really the interface to the field of what you're experiencing, and it's also the origin that creates this physical body. Like, we have a body, we have a mind, we have emotions, yes, but we are not them, right? But we have an interface that's created what we see here and what we feel here and what we perceive here. And so your Cosmic Human Design, which is different than standard human design that's using tropical astrology, 12 signs, that is a spell. That is not the truth. So here we're using true sidereal astrology with your 13 signs and the correct constellation sizes, as well as the precision, so that we have a present day sky that formed your code. And so we give direction towards, well, first of all, some of the foundation of the basic principles of uniqueness in it, as well as sources so that you can compute your cosmic human design or your quantum design, and so that you can begin the exploration of what it means to be unique and start to learn different aspects of yourself, including, yes, your talents, your unique talents, and not only for yourself, but how you connect with other people. So in other words, there's 64 zeros and ones of the archetypes that we're experiencing life with, the qualities. And
Right.
where you may be a one, you may be a zero over here, but all of a sudden someone else in your life has that one, and then you form this channel of gifts and uniqueness together that you wouldn't have on your own. And so it doesn't just show you, it helps you see how you synergize and harmonize with other people. And that's what the Cosmic Human Design System can do. And so we offer up the foundation of that and some of the basic principles of it, as well as how you can compute yours and begin the journey of your ascension through your avatar body, which includes evolving your own DNA. And that is also in there as well. So that's a long answer for
Well,
yes.
no, that's perfect, because before the show, I came on to your website, and in fact, I printed out my own cosmic human design, and so I will the book help me to figure out what all of this means?
Yes. Not
Okay.
all of it, because it's a journey and it's
Right,
very
right, right.
complex, but yes, but the parts that matter. The
Yeah.
parts that matter and the parts that make the most impact. So what we like to say with it is there's lots of numbers and colors and things to learn, right? Like Greg
Mhm.
said, with simplicity. But there are basic aspects, let's say 20% of it, that represents 80% of the power. So if
Right.
you can learn where your intuition is in that process, if you can learn your quantum mechanics, am I designed to be in response? Am I designed to initiate? Am I designed to be invited? It'll help you incredibly, because it helps you break the matrix, if you want to call it that. Breaking the matrix is not doing the same patterns based on logic and reaction. This is helping you do it based on principle, dynamic energy, and then uniqueness of your skills and talents of how you energize and are being received by the cosmos. And Greg probably has some interpretation on that to add.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, cosmic human design is a pretty amazing uh, foundation for you to play off of, right? So you can really get some great tips on how to step forward in your life. Because, for example, before I met Jarin, I was always trying to invite myself into situations. I was trying to be a salesperson, these type of things. And I could never make it work. And I was always wondering what was wrong with me. And then when Jaron came along, he showed me that my design was meant to be invited into situations, not to go and advance myself into situations. So I started to realize that, okay, I have to either find people that I surround myself by that will allow me to get more invitations, or I just build things and I just wait for the invitation to come. Like the cosmos will show me, right? Something will come along that will say, hey, I'm looking for this particular thing. Oh, you know what? I just built something like that, or maybe a month ago I built something like that. So it really does get you to, instead of taking 2 steps back to get 1 step forward, you're actually taking a nice big step forward because you understand things a lot better about yourself. So I love that. It's great stuff. I've had a lot of great success with understanding who I am. And then I was able to kind of advance from there. I mean, look how far I've come in 5 years, Jaron, with Rise TV and the School of Om and all of these things that just came about. They just kind of designed their way in. And even we did a Cosmic Human Design show for a while with Richard Mason, which was another amazing Yale graduate genius on it. So we did probably 26, 27 shows of that. They're out there somewheres on YouTube. But besides even Cosmic Human Design, we have all of these activities in each chapter that get people to break down the things that are blocking them, right? We're trying to unblock their dams, trying to get them to remember who they truly are, right? You come in from Earth, like you born into it, right, through a womb, and you have no filters to the Earth right yet, But then as you grow as a child, you are now programmed by everything around you to think and be a certain way. What would your personality be if you were born in a different country? If you spoke a different language? If you were born in a third world country? What kind of personality would you have? You would be different. You would definitely be transformed by who you're around, your environment. So what we're doing is now we're stripped as adults and as more vibrating beings we start to strip away all the things we've been taught. And that's what we're trying to do throughout the book. Strip away those things so that you start to find this right here, who you truly are. Your heart, your voice, right? The chakra system, all of this stuff starts to burn inside of you. And you're like, whoa, this is who I am, truly. And so you go on the journey, the rabbit hole, so to speak, of learning who you are. Then you have to deal with the world because you're changing and it's not. And it doesn't want you to change, but you're going to get it.
Yeah. If real quick, anyone watching in the audience, if you have any questions for Greg and Jarin, please put them in the chat. We're going to have questions here shortly. But one thing that comes to mind, guys, is one thing that holds a lot of people back is knowing that they're getting so separate from their family that doesn't want to go with them.
Yeah.
You know, that they see their family being held back and left in this 3D world, and they're afraid to move on without them. But I feel just increasing your own vibration and being around the lower vibration family members will give them the nudge they need to raise their vibration, because your resonance is going to affect theirs as well. But what do you say? What other recommendations could you give people about that?
Jarin, why don't you start with this one? You have your ideas there.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. I definitely love what you said there about your own vibration can make the greatest impact without reaching, convincing, or trying to save at all. You know, I absolutely align with that fully. The other thing is, to me, in my view, not that's not everybody's path. They're not choosing to exit. They're not choosing to ascension. Many are going to go through more experiences here on this plane the way it's been. We can help all we want, but the other soul or being, spirit, actually, as I like to call it, has to choose it. And so it gets into a lot of good, interesting thoughts on how much is real versus how much is not in this reality or in this simulation. And true player characters will awaken naturally. And the next couple of decades are actually continually designed to wake up in the negativity and the chaos in the program, in the collective herd. Many are not. And I won't go into other talks of NPCs or The Walking Dead and all these kind of things. We could talk for days on that stuff. But I think my point is, I know we love the ones we love, but we have to recognize to unattach from our responsibility for, dictating what their life is going to be. And what we have to focus on is ourself, and then who resonates with us, our tribe that is on our resonance, that is building and realities together. And in the meantime, by design, when things show up in your life that may be from people that are kind of confused or not normally in that spot, if it's by design, when you look at yours, then you can say, okay, and then you're able to assist a little more. And so we always want to show up, love, and support in every moment. And I give my all as best I can with what I'm able to, provided my chi energy is enough, right? Sometimes we lose ourselves in others and we drain ourselves. So provided that mine is, but we have to get out of this old mentality of I'm here to save the world and I'm here to save everybody else. And we have to focus more on self, who's actually in front of you, and then let the cosmos do it. A lot of times you can bless more without your words through your intention for the ones you love, and let the creator or let the cosmic harmony of all come in and assist more so than our own, ego trying to fix what we perceive as problems or tell someone facts to give them a new way. So I think we're unattaching from a lot of it as we want to still love and serve.
It's kind of like, I know as a medium, a lot of my friends who are mediums and connect with spirit tells them that they are more alive than they ever imagined they could be, that we're actually the dead ones. And I think it just kind of puts into perspective that they actually say this, they're able to help us more from the other side than they were ever able to help us here, as long as we ask them for help, and it's kind of like how that what you're explaining now is kind of using ourselves as that spiritual vessel to do that as well, but here on earth, for our loved ones that are still here, we're able to help them more by working on ourselves and resonating with that vibration out to them. They don't have to ask, though, when in spirit you do have to ask. Do you know what I mean?
So let me ask the group this if they resonate with this definition. So the process to enlightenment, okay, is you hate people, you hate the world, you hate yourself. Then you forgive people, you forgive the world, and then you forgive yourself. And then finally you love people, you love the world, and you love yourself. So that's the process of enlightenment. And if we look at it that way, when we get to the point where we just love everyone for who they are, exactly who they are, we're not trying to change them. We're just authentically loving them because we've seen the process and we understand that they're not where we are. Not that it's better or worse, just they're not where we are. And we have to just take care of who we are. We have to love and accept and just be authentic. And then that's it. That's our journey. And when we get in this save mentality, we really are hurting ourselves and hurting them at the same time because we're going against free will. We're doing everything it is against free will. And then we wonder why we get in fights and we do this and we do that. It's like, well, we're going against the grain here. We got to just flow. We just got to go with it and say they're on their process and I'm on mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things to get over, especially if it's a very traumatic experience. I used to have an ex that was so abusive. He'd be holding a knife to my saying he was going to kill me. The next minute he'd be on his hands and knees crying, saying he was sorry. And I always saw that good aspect of him and stayed with him for 5 years because of it. But once I got into spirituality, it really made me see things in a different light, because I was taught that we all reincarnate into this life with the same about 30 people, the same group of souls, and everybody plays a different role in each lifetime to help us learn lessons, and that we all plan it before we come here, and that the ones that love us the most in our spirit group, as we're doing the planning, they will step forward and say, that's going to be a really hard lesson for you to learn. I volunteered to help teach you that. So they volunteer in spirit to be the villain down here. When their memory is erased, they come in. They won't remember that they're the good guy. But if you can remember that they are, in spirit, then that really helps you release that trauma and give that forgiveness that's needed to help ascend.
Yeah, human psychology is just amazing to me. Watching human beings and watching what the things they do, the actions they do, and what is their root cause of it. I mean, obviously, subconsciously, a lot of them don't understand until you kind of break them down. But in that situation where somebody's holding a knife to your throat, and then the next thing you know, they're crying and they're begging for forgiveness. What is going on in that person? Is it control, right? Are they just trying to get control of you? Any way it happens, they're going to go extreme this way, extreme that way. What is going on inside these people? And what are they looking for? What are they really trying to achieve? I'm just fascinated by things like that. And
Yeah.
that's why I love people watching, right? It's just amazing stuff to watch what happens.
Well, then you get into the MK Ultra stuff too, and you don't know if it's the program that's pulling them, that they're internally fighting those constantly, and you see the goodness, and but the bad emerges on occasion. So, but there's so many things in play right now.
Yeah, and of course you played a role in that as well by, like you said, sticking around, giving them, looking at the good in them, and just continuing this cycle. And they were able to cycle because you were there giving them the ability to do it, giving them permission to do it, basically.
Yeah.
So it's amazing relationships, human relationships. They're like, to me, one of the greatest teaching tools, right? Getting in
Yeah.
a marriage, greatest teaching tool. I mean,
Yes.
rough times at times. It's very rough at times. You got to learn a lot of things about yourself through that other partner mirroring to you who you are. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that relationship gave me courage.
yeah,
I was a wimp before that. I never stood up for myself, and it took me 5 years, but I built up enough courage and never let anybody do that to me again.
yeah.
So,
I know the lessons you were talking about there in those steps. Um, when I was going through those myself 12 years ago, uh, probably the most important thing for me to figure out was that I had to forgive myself and love myself before
mhm.
I could do either for anyone else. And it literally cannot happen. You cannot forgive others until you forgive yourself, and you can't love others until you love yourself too. So, those are just powerful messages, and I wouldn't change a thing about my life. I had some real rough spots there for a while, but you have to go through that and bless every second of it. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without everything that happened to me in the past. So it's just, those are tough words for people to believe, I think, when they're going through that. But that's right. Be true to yourself. Find yourself. Find what it is that you love to do. Be passionate about it. Love others, and intend only good. And I think the world will change drastically if you do that. I know it will.
I love that, Charlie. And the guilt spell is a challenging one. Um, One of the texts that I enjoy looking at and utilizing is the Oracle of the Cosmic Way, True I Ching, and Book of Transformation. And in it, just as a tool, it's, there's fear, there's doubt, there's anxiety. Yes, those things are all there, but the biggest one that holds people back is guilt.
Guilt.
And guilt is an illusion. Guilt is not a cosmic word. Guilt is a part of this construct or this reality. There is blame. In other words, in one learning experience and through communication and through honesty and through forgiveness and through love, you can create greater transformation. It's a gift. But there is that, but there's not guilt like for this forever guilty, thing for everything we've done before that holds us back. And so I love that the aspect of self-love, self-forgiveness, along with that outside. However, another example, when we're in the field and when we're in the moment, the now of the experience, another challenge is for us to be able to say the inner no to the ego and the outer no to the ego. And so that's what it made me think of, Lisa, as well, as eventually arriving to this point where you said you became strong and you said, I've got to choose and self-love myself. Well, you had to say no to the ego in another. And that's part of the villains. The villains is internally. We have our own ego program that talks to us, right? Causes us to react and is thinking for us. So we have to say no to that more often. Stop giving the energy. Stop letting it leach our chi. Okay? Pause, breathe. We also have to say to no to others at times. And sometimes it's just a momentary thing and it's two beings that work through it and grow and they're doing their best. But sometimes it's never going to happen. And sometimes it's not being reciprocated and there's not two parts playing the role. And so sometimes we have to move away. We have to be comfortable in doing so. And I think there's a lot of letting go in this ascension. There's a lot of forgiveness, but accepting your path as you move forward and just blessing everybody in their path, but you must go to yours. And then the third is the ego is also what we would call like the matrix construct, right? Or, there's a lot of phrases we could give it, but it's the least energy. It wants us to function in those ways. It's part of the game that makes it more challenging for us. And so we need to recognize that this ego energy is out there and it's led through its institutions. So a lot of the truthers, we go into, well, this is happening, here's this system, here's that one. And it's all true. But innately, it's feeding that. So we have to say the no also to institutional conditioning that we give our power away to. Like, well, that's the only way I make money. That's the only way I'm safe. That's the only way I'm loved. I got to fit into the external. We also have to say the no to that and say, no, I'm authentic. I'm living in harmony as me. And I recognize that the field, the quantum field, or your version of divinity and God is going to feed for you. That's your nourishment. That's your support. That's your money. That everything else comes from you in your highest form, in your co-creation with the cosmos. You don't need any set up system to be your protector and to be your savior. Inevitably, they're not. That's the ego, and that's what we're transcending. We are moving into freedom and sovereignty, but in harmony with the cosmos that is our provider, as opposed to that. So there's a lot of no's that have to happen in this spirit world of ascension, not just all the positive yeses. We got to learn to be able to say some no's and be okay with that.
Yeah. Wow.
For sure. Take control. We need to take our power back, but we need to take control first.
Let me ask a question, Jaron, about uh, the role of emotion in this whole process of manifestation. I mean, I know that when I went to a metaphysical church, of course, we learned that. You know, that preachers, all the ones who seem to be the most powerful, are the ones who use emotion. Even Nikolai Kozyrev, the father of torsion physics, he set up these little devices that would measure changes in the torsion field. And when he was emotional about something, for example, when he would read Faust or listen to Faust in music, he would get very emotional, and it would charge. So, kind of tell me where, how connecting to our emotion, our positive emotions, is impactful in creating our experience.
Well, I'll give it a couple short examples. I think that Greg's got some good stuff to say on this as well. But I'll say one is your design. So going back to your quantum design, some of us are emotional, process based, and some of us are not. So that's not going to be explained right now, but that is foundational in differences between people. Okay, putting
Okay.
that aside, I think, right, across the board, I love that you're bringing up emotion as far as passion and
Yeah.
desire in a positive way to charge your manifestation, to charge your vibration, right? The emotion is the charge, the thought is the frequency. So we want to charge our realities that we want to create with immense passion, immense gratitude, immense joy. And we can harness emotional energy, whether it's negative or positive, for the good. The issue is most of us don't, and we react from it, and we
Right.
give our power away to it. And so what human design also assists us with is, you know, the mind and the emotions are not designed to be decision makers. They're terrible decision makers. And most humans are doing that. Their mind is determining their decisions as well as emotional reaction. So if we can become the observer more often, become the true spirit, and allow the process as life is happening that may trigger us and not react, we do a lot of good. And so I just want to point out that part of like not letting emotions run us in the experience of choices or reactions on other people. However, as far as charging creation and manifestation and going after your dreams and expressing yourselves with charisma and power and energy and letting your vibe go up, oh my God, that's the answer. In human beings, a lot of us have lost the ability to feel, and that's the real consciousness. The real consciousness is a feeling consciousness that leads our thinking, that leads our actions. And so we want to feel like we're in love with life and like we're playing a sport and giving our all when we're charging up our creation and being our true self. But we don't want to react to the field in that way where the emotion triggers us so much that we release an ego or we make decisions that are not the best for us. And I'm sure Greg's got a whole nother approach to that, which would be great.
Yeah, well, that's why me and Jared are so great together, is that we have little different perspectives on things, but it all leads to the same thing, right? Is this the success of expanding who you are. I talk a lot about flow state in School of Om and many other places. So, harnessing the power of flow state is really going to be amazing for your manifestations, right? So how do we get into flow state? Number one is you got to make life simple. You got to really find those things that really jive with you, and you got to stick in those vibrational levels so that you can find that. If you're getting distracted constantly, your energy's getting pulled away, whether it's in relationships, whether it's with work environment, whether it's surrounding yourself with bad people, whatever it might be, you want to find, that flow state within yourself. So whatever that means, surrounding yourself by. Remember that it's the food you eat, the air you breathe, the things you think. It's a lot of things that go into it. So it's not simple. But I think we've all felt flow state at one point or the other, right? We were going down the road and we were hitting every green light. And we were like, oh, this is amazing. And then as soon as you start saying that, red light, because you put yourself out of it. You thought of it. You went too much into the actual, the reality of life instead of the magic of life, just letting it happen and letting it flow. But there's something to do with team building flow state. So you are 300% more rewarded when you do an exercise with a team than you are as an isolated person. So if you can get in flow state with a team, such as like you look at rowers, like crew on the river. So they're swinging together, they call it, right? And that's a flow state when they're all hitting it perfectly with the water all together. That is 300% more rewarding. Jazz musicians, right? They call it around midnight is when you drop into jazz because you've done your first set, you've had your drinking, you've done some cigars, you get back on stage and you just start flowing in jazz, the flow state, the swing. So it's as a team sometimes, that's where you can really manifest amazingly. That's why masterminds are so, so important. That's why we love team building stuff. That's why we love live events, which we have one coming up in February in Florida. So we really love teams. And that's why we do 3 people on Rise TV and 3 people on School of Om as hosts, because we believe when we get in the flow of it, boy, does it raise the vibration of that show if it was just one single person. Sure. So flow state can be that way too with manifestation.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're running out of time here, guys. We don't want to keep you all day, but I don't see any questions from the audience. But how about you tell us about your live event that's coming up? And then each of you, if you want to say a couple words before we cut it out for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Where was it? I wanted to pull it up here. There it is. So it's called I Am Limitless. Okay, this is the event that we're putting on. It's going to be me, Jarin, and Brittany Renee. She's been a 2-time guest on the show. She was just on today. She's also a person who puts on events. And so we've been talking about doing this, me and Jarin, for a while now, maybe 8 months. We've been trying to figure out how to get it onto stage and do a live event that we want to put on. That's educational. That's like got core amazing cosmic pillars that are just teaching people, getting people moving, involved in life, chanting and moving together in harmony, just doing things that are just amazing. So we actually reached out to Louis Herms too, and we may be having him at the event. So
he said he was going to be there.
Yeah. So we were really looking forward to that because we were originally talking with him about doing events, but it didn't quite work out. So we ended up with Brittany, but we want Louis as somebody there who's just been so amazing to us and amazing with the Truth Tours, 77 Truth Tours around the country. I mean, just amazing stuff he's doing. So what we're doing is taking something like a Truth Tour and we're making it like an education event, a place where we can really bring leaders up through the ranks and show them how to live life in this new earth way. And each one of us as a speaker has different roles. I mean, Jarin's manifestation and cosmic human design. Brittany Renee is embodiment, and I'm inspiration. And together we just bring this surging, like I said, flow state, right? And we really want to get that going along with a few other speakers that will be coming to the event to do this. But it'll be on a Friday and Saturday. It'll be in Florida in February 16th, 17th, near Clearwater. And we're just really looking forward to it because we don't think it's just going to be one. We think it's going to be a tour. So
very
we're
nice.
looking forward to it.
Jarin, you can find that information on your website?
Actually, you can find it on, I haven't put it on my website yet. So if you go to The Brittany Renee, so THEE BrittanyRenee.com, it's /I Am Limitless. So the show today that we did on YouTube has the link right in the link below if you wanted to click on it. But I'll be also putting it on the website, and if you pay attention to Rise TV, you'll see it there every week as the link. So
I'll update the description when we're done, and we'll add
excellent. Thank you.
as well. Yeah. Yeah. Any last words, guys, then, before we're...
Jaron, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we just sprouted now, so appreciate bringing it up, and we're so grateful Lewis will be part of it. And like Greg said, we have a couple other amazing people that are very well known that will participate, and we're going to bring out the magic. So this is not just education, but it's energy, right? And it's having a breakthrough. It's having a breakthrough of vision, a breakthrough of possibility, a breakthrough of manifestation in the moment that will change our lives or transforms our lives, as well as lots of tools and other things to go home with that will help you stay in your journey. So, and we're excited for who's going to be there, because it's, we know that we're masterminding together with a lot, and there's people we don't know yet that will pop into the field. And I know that there'll be a lot of gifts from all the people coming. We always say that besides the event itself, right, of whatever the presenter's giving, the aspect of connecting with like-minded and merging in the field of the potential of what's possible will spring other things for people's lives. So that's the other aspect to that. And we're very looking forward to doing. And as Greg said, we know it's going to become a regular thing. And so you'll be seeing an I Am Limitless coming to a theater near you. And we're grateful that it's going to just be in central western Florida, right down the road from me, right down the road from this ocean, the first time here in February. So
Great.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it really would go with the formula of E3, which is entertainment, education, and empowerment event. So it has all three of those aspects.
Very cool. Very cool. You guys have been busy. I said that at the beginning when you first popped on. You guys are busy guys, and you're so inspiring, not only to the people to help them, but just the work and the power that you guys put into the power and energy, I should say, you put into your work. It's just inspiring.
thank you.
Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate
All right.
both.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot
Thank
of
you
fun.
so much.
We'll do another show soon together.
Okay.
Maybe a live event at some point. Who knows?
Yes,
Perhaps
for
so.
sure. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks for everyone for watching. We're going to call it a day, and I hope you got lots out of this, because we sure did. And if you have any questions or anything, get a hold of Greg and Jarin. Their information is in the description. So take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.